Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you for your continued support of this platform that celebrates industry professionals all around the world. You are bold, brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you solve problems each and every day. You are making this world a better place. Thank you so much for what you do. We are broadcasting on site, IoT Solutions World Congress, Barcelona, Spain. If you're not here in 24, I can do the math. In 25, you need to be here. All the cool kids are hanging out in this particular conference, and you need to attend. It is a wonderful event. You get incredible people like Brett Smith. He's in the hot seat. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's going to dazzle you with his acumen. He's not going to let you down. So let's get cracking. Yeah. Don't let me down.
Good intro. Yeah. You're setting the bar high here.
Yeah. That's it, man. You better bring tears to everybody's eyes.
I'll try my best.
That bread is just fantastic. Very good. You having a good conference?
Yeah, no, it's been good. I mean, it's day 3, IoT Solutions World Congress. We're in Barcelona, absolutely beautiful city. The weather's amazing. I'm from London in the UK, and it's we don't get this weather so often. So happy to be here.
Yeah, I had an office in London.
Okay.
Yeah, by the ship.
By the ship.
By that ship that's on the Thames.
Okay.
Whatever the
HMS
something.
Yes. HMS something.
Yeah, there it is. I don't mean to. Oh gosh, I'm
upset.
I'm upset with that. You don't know the name of it, and I'm going. I can understand. I don't have that. All right. Before we get into the conversation about, can I say smart building?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say smart building. Before we get into the conversation about smart building, Brett, give us a little background on who you are.
So yeah, hey everyone. So Brett Smith. I've been at Siemens for 4 years now, but I've been working about a decade in the smart buildings platform
you started
arena.
At age 8. Freaking pup.
I appreciate if that's a compliment we'll take it, Scott.
Wow.
So Siemens for 4 years, and so yeah, most of my career has been around the smart building platform space. Always loved working in disruptive technologies, so how we're sort of changing the game using tech. The last 2 years, we've released a platform called Building X, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we go on. But that's all about making your buildings more sustainable, more autonomous, and more profitable using technology.
All right.
So yeah.
Building X, by the way, that's a branding thing that Siemens
everything's X. Everything's X now. Like, you come to Siemens, you've got Accelerator, Building X. Every new portfolio has an X either at the start or the end of it. So we're trying to keep it simple, Scott. We're trying to keep it simple.
I got it, man. When you popped out Building X, I said,
you're right.
Check on the branding. Got it. Check done. Let's dive into it. Now, being with Siemens for about 4 years, even in that short period of time, you've seen a lot of changes. I mean, you just launched this particular product in essence 2 years ago, but I'm sure this product has evolved and changed and adapted to the changes that are taking place in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside of that, the brand, how does it make it more sustainable? How do you make a building more sustainable?
So, great question, and I guess some examples of that is that our buildings are always talking to us in some way, as an analogy. And we're sort of using technology to basically enable us humans to hear what is actually going on in those buildings. So, as an example, within the Building X platform, we have something called Energy Manager. And that's tracking your live energy data, your live metering information, so that once you can see what is happening within a building, you can then take an informed decision based on the data, what the data is showing you. There's also things around predictive maintenance, so that you can identify faults before they even happen. So you could have an asset on site. I'm looking to the sky that your viewers can't see, but you got a lot of lights, you got a lot of HVAC equipment keeping the facility cool. If one of those particular assets wasn't performing at its most optimum, it's going to be costing, it could be very energy inefficient, for example, but also very cost intensive. So I guess what our technology is doing is really giving the energy manager or the facility manager, using the data that we've got, so that you can focus exactly where you need to be to make your building as efficient as you can.
Are you saying that, or let's use this as an example right here. This particular building, this venue that we are in right now, it's big. It has a lot of lights. It has a lot of things that are happening. We take it for granted. I'm surprised that there's no lights out. That's pretty impressive, by the way. So each individual assets have devices on them, I would imagine, that communicate some sort of health or condition of that asset, as well as devices that are, if you look at a building like this, will there be communication that this side of the building's warm, this one's not being used, we'll shut that down, the people are here but not there. Is that what we're talking about? A little bit more dynamic management of those systems?
And this is it's a great point, Scott. And this is kind of where we're moving into more that autonomous building, right? Yeah. And sort of when I use the word autonomous, it's basically that the building can understand what's going on, all the data that the machine is then getting, can then make an automated response to make a building more energy efficient or operationally efficient without the need for human intervention. So this is kind of where we're moving into the next frontier of technology and using things, I know it's a buzzword, using things like machine learning and artificial intelligence to make a building as efficient as they can be with little to no human intervention. So it's a great example, like if we have a building like this, a lot of our customers will say to us, if one of our floors isn't that busy, will the system pick up the fact that there's not many occupants in there?
That's the point. Yeah.
And then, the system's picking it up, maybe using sensors, and if it doesn't pick up, there's a lot of occupants there. So what can the system then do? And you can put rules into the system. So if it's picking up this data that there's not many people there, then maybe you can wind down the HVAC systems a little bit. You don't need to cool the air as much or need as many air changes. And maybe if it's not picking up people in the area, you can just simply take, the lights don't need to be on, or lower them down a little bit. So there's so many different use cases that always pop up. And I learned so much even from these events. Customers will come to us with new use cases that we might have not even thought about. And this is where I get a lot of enjoyment from being at conferences like this, because I'm always learning also from our customers. How can we use our technologies to make a building more sustainable, more efficient, more autonomous, more profitable for them?
Yeah, speaking of profitability, tell us, give us some swags on data of what we're talking about, from making a building more efficient, savings of 100% or whatever. Give us a little understanding of why it makes the building more profitable.
Yep. So a good example, going through something we call fault detection and diagnosis. So let's take an example that most people would probably resonate with. So if we focus on our HVAC systems, if the system will pick up a fault with that, say that the HVAC unit there is pumping out too much heat, for example, but it's meant to be cooling down. The system will, tell you exactly where that is. There's an alarm that's now gone off. Your facility manager will then get a notification either on their smart device or their laptop. So they've been alerted. So then you're picking up the alarm that's now gone off, but within that, you're then going to get a breakdown of a few things, and it's going to show you reasons why we think that particular device or asset has broken. The machine and I always think of Arnold Schwarzenegger when I say
Right.
that the machines are going. You're going to get so you've got the reasons why that might have broken, how you can then fix it. So how an engineer might be able to fix it before they've even got there, what the machine will tell them how to fix, but then a cost association. So, and this will depend on the particular vertical that it is. But let's say €1,000. So if this particular unit that is faulty is costing €1,000 a day, £1,000 a day, $1,000 a day, it's quite a large amount, and it doesn't take that many days until that's really impacting your operational efficiency, your bottom line at the end of the day. So that's like an example of how we can try and make a building more operationally efficient to then make you more profitable, so that you're not losing $1,000 a day.
But you can place within the system. I'm assuming I'm not jumping to conclusions here, but I would imagine you to achieve that autonomous objective, then you would have these rules that are in there, and that would make automatic adjustments accordingly. Is that correct? Like it's just
right.
sort of, okay, I've got it all set up the way I need to set it up, and then it just sort of runs, and then notifies me if I'm a maintenance individual that this asset is demonstrating some challenges and all of that stuff. The AI ML component, that's really a recent development. How are you putting that into the system itself?
Yeah. So let's think of some examples that we've got. So if we go along the realms of energy manager, so it will be tracking historical data from the building, how it's been operating during set times. So set times of the year, it will know that, say, where are we now? We're in May. So heating starting, your AC systems are starting to fire on more to keep the place cool, and things like this.
Yeah.
So the system will be like, this is normal data that we're now picking up in May based on historical data that we've got. So it will use that to know what a normal range is expected based on the time of the year. But then within this tool, you can then forecast up to 3 to 6 to a year in advance using all of that previous data that you've been given. We've also got an application within the platform, and maybe I should say exactly what the platform is. It's our digital buildings platform that's completely open and vendor agnostic. So it doesn't matter about what field devices that you've got, whether they're Siemens, which is great, we'll be very happy, but if not, and they're third parties, that's also totally okay. It's mainly about getting that data and that connectivity, and then once we need to get that data off-site and then into the cloud. So we're using AWS, we're actually on the AWS stand at the moment. We're using
right across the street from right here.
Yeah, exactly that.
Neighbor.
And so we use the AWS cloud infrastructure to power Building X, because you need to use a lot of this machine learning and AI, which can't really be done within a building or on-site or on-prem. It's really got to be using cloud technology. So we will use one example then of that. I always give a Netflix analogy, where it's a subscription-based service. So Netflix is great. You just log in, give it details, and then it's there. Boom, you've got access to thousands and thousands of hours of entertainment. So based on the job profile, whether you're an energy manager, operations manager, you will subscribe to the relevant applications to enable you to do your job function as efficiently as possible. Around the realms of AI, we've also got something called Comfort AI. So put AI even in the name of the application, just to sort of make it as obvious as possible.
Can you put an X next to it?
An X. Yeah. Hey, you should come to the marketing team at Siemens.
I see X in the future, so can it be AIX?
There you go. We might get that trending.
But hashtag.
But Comfort AI will be using. It will be based on the settings that you put into the tool, whether you want to keep a room between a certain range, so it could be 20 to 25 degrees C. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm versed in the old metric system.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep between 20 and 25 degrees C, the tool will find like the best, most energy efficient range to be within that, sort of using AI so that your HVAC systems are operating at the most optimum and not costing you much.
Can you take that same approach and run simulations? Like if you have historical data and you start filling that with information and then say, what if I stick this HVAC in? What does that do? How does it has certain qualities, and what if I put these lights in? What are we looking at? And just play around in sort of a simulation. I guess it's a sort of a quasi-digital twin, I'm going to simulate over here to see. Is that all a part of the...
Yeah, so I mean, a big part of people using and embracing cloud technologies is for things like this. You need to like crunch the numbers, crunch the data to understand what your building might look like if you're making certain changes. But it's going to allow you to forecast as well. So using that historical data, Mr. Machine or Mrs. Machine, where are we going to be in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? It's going to use all that to then project where you think your building's going to be. And a lot of customers have previously been quite, I guess it's an IoT digital conference, so I use the word like quite analog in terms of how they will report and monitor their data that they're getting from site. So an example of that would be a lot of our customers would physically go to a site to check the metering information. Maybe let's take an electrical meter, for example, and then note that down, write that down, then go drive to somewhere else and note that down, and then write it down, put it in an Excel, then send it. What the tool is now doing is you can connect your entire global portfolio of buildings to it without the need of going to the site as well. So you're saving a lot of time efficiency, you're saving a lot of carbon just by not having to travel there, but then you can do reporting straight away, instantaneously.
You know what I want? I want a building to be able to do, if autonomy is sort of the objective, so that's good for me because I don't like the details, but if autonomy is the objective, could you theoretically get to the point where the solution begins to make recommendations and have, like, hey, we're doing okay, but if you this, and then be able to enhance, make decisions in that sense, like, hey, I'll get this, and it's going to improve the bottom line and make my business more sustainable, profitable, efficient, things like that.
Yep. No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. That's always what our customers are asking, is they will see a reporting or monitoring tool, and which is good. You've got to see the power of the data, but then it's like what happens from that point sort of onwards.
Come on.
And that's where they're saying, okay, I can see what you're showing in the building, and it's measuring this building's good, this building's bad, what next?
Yeah.
And so we'll get that question, and they're wanting to see platforms and technologies that are now looking at what the data is saying, and then what does that mean to me? Like, so what? Okay, cool. And then being able to then take an action from there. So some of that will be done autonomously within the building without any human intervention. There's always going to be things that humans can then do and look at the data and what the recommendations are for then to make your building more sustainable, autonomous, profitable, things like this. So
that's Brett. Brett knows his stuff. Brett knows. Put that on a bumper sticker. Brett knows. Brett Smith, Siemens. How do people get a hold of you?
Yes.
Now, don't just type in Brett Smith in LinkedIn, because you're going to get hit by a gazillion Brett Smiths.
So, I mean, if you put in, go to Google, and probably put Brett Smith, Siemens.
There you go.
You're going to get. I'll be there. And just look out for a similar looking face. I guess that might help.
Well, I'm gonna make it easy for everybody. It's gonna all be out on Industrial Talk. So reach out to Brett, because he knows his stuff. You can tell. He's got a lot of passion. Yeah, we need to do that. All right, we're broadcasting from IoT Solutions World Congress. Barcelona, Spain is the location. Put this on your calendar. I say it all the time. You will not be disappointed because you get to meet people like Brett Smith, Siemens. Brett knows. That's where we're going to go. Hashtag Brett knows. Anyway, thank you very much for joining. We're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Brett Smith. Siemens is the company. Brett knows. Hashtag Brett knows. You can tell by the conversation, he knows a lot. IoT Solutions World Congress was the event, and it's a barn burner. It's an event that you need to take seriously to be a part of. You get people like Brett and others. They're just there. They just wander around. There's just this collection of knowledgeable people just wandering around, ready to have a conversation. Be a part of that IoT Solutions World Congress. All right. We are building a platform. You have a podcast? You have a podcast. You need to put it out on Industrial Talk, the platform. Get more attention. Get more traction for your podcast. You have a story to tell. Make it happen. Industrial Talk. Be bold, be brave. Dare greatly. Hang out with Brett, Siemens, IoT Solutions World Congress. Change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly.